The morning is a quiet teacher. It's the space between yesterday and today, between who you were and who you can still become. There's something sacred about the first light, before the noise begins, before the world pulls your mind in 100 directions. That stillness isn't empty, it's full of messages your heart has been trying to tell you for years. The truth is, most people don't really wake up when the sun rises. Their eyes open, but their mind stays asleep. The past, the worries, the endless loop of what-ifs drag behind them like shadows. Yet this simple truth holds a kind of magic. Every single morning, you are given another chance to rewire the story you tell yourself. The mornings I once used to rush through, coffee in one hand, phone in the other, thoughts already halfway into the future, were the same mornings that shaped my chaos. I didn't understand then that peace isn't something we find at the end of the day, it's something we build at the start. Over the years, through struggle and reflection, I began to see how mornings whisper lessons that take years to understand. Lessons about control, patience, clarity, and the quiet power of our own thoughts. What I will share are not theories or quotes from old books, but truths that revealed themselves slowly, through experience, through silence, and through learning to listen to the language of my own mind. When the world feels heavy, it's not because life has become harder, it's often because the mind has become louder. The Stoics understood this deeply. They spoke of mornings as sacred ground, a space to prepare the mind for the unpredictable rhythm of the day ahead. They believed that how one begins the morning determines how one lives the day. That first thought, that first breath, that first choice, all of it directs the quality of your emotions. The discipline to start right is the foundation of a peaceful life. The first light doesn't just brighten the sky, it reminds us that renewal is natural. No matter how dark the night before, the sun always rises again. That's not just poetry, that's perspective. Stoicism teaches that change begins in perception. You cannot always control what happens, but you can always shape how you see it. And the morning gives you that exact gift, the moment to choose perception before reaction. This is the hour where stillness trains strength, where self-reflection plants peace. The lessons that took me 10 years to learn did not come in the moments of success, but in the quiet mornings where I faced my own reflection, not the mirror reflection, but the one that stares back from within. When the mind is still, it becomes a clear mirror. It shows you what you've been avoiding, what you've been fearing, and what you've been pretending not to feel. That's where real growth begins. Time has always been the silent teacher. It doesn't rush, it doesn't speak, yet it shows us everything we need to know, if we stay long enough to notice. I used to think that life was about chasing something new, a goal, a dream, a moment of excitement. But time showed me that real progress is not about adding more, it's about removing what's unnecessary. The more I chased, the more lost I felt. The more I sat still, the more I began to see. There's a moment in every journey where you realize that not all movement is progress. You can wake up early, run fast, and still go in circles. That's what happens when the mind is unfocused. The Stoics believed that peace isn't about escaping life, it's about mastering direction. They taught that every morning, before the world intrudes, you must remind yourself of two truths. First, that some things are not in your control. And second, that your response to everything is. When I learned this, my mornings changed. I stopped trying to control the future and started shaping my mind. I began sitting in silence before doing anything. No phone, no news, no plans. Just breathing, just noticing. In that stillness, clarity began to grow. What seemed like wasted minutes became the most valuable time of my day. The chaos outside didn't stop, but it no longer entered my mind so easily. The Stoic way is not about detaching from life, but about engaging with it wisely. It's about seeing everything, even discomfort, as part of your training. Morning becomes your gym for the soul. Every thought you resist strengthens your focus. Every emotion you calm strengthens your peace. Every act of gratitude strengthens your contentment. Over time, this becomes a quiet armor, not against the world, but against your own impulsive reactions to it. The greatest mistake I once made was believing peace was something I could earn, that if I achieved enough, did enough, or became enough, I'd finally feel it. But peace doesn't arrive from the outside. It's something that grows when the inside stops resisting. Stoicism taught me that acceptance is not weakness, it's wisdom. The morning gives you a chance to practice it every day. Accept the thoughts that arise, the emotions that visit, the memories that surface. Don't run from them, observe them. They lose power when you stop fighting them. One of the most important Stoic principles is the control of perception. Before anything happens in your day, your perception defines how it will feel. A delay, a rejection, a silence. These things don't hurt by themselves. What hurts is the story the mind tells about them. Marcus Aurelius once reflected that life is opinion. What he meant was simple. The events are neutral, the meaning is chosen. When I finally began to see mornings as a space to choose meaning, not just prepare for work, everything began to shift.
Feels like a reset button, a reminder that no thought from yesterday has permission to control today. The mind may try to repeat old fears, old patterns, old regrets, but each breath gives you a new chance to rewrite them. I began to understand that mental clarity is not found in thinking more, it's found in thinking less. The moment you stop chasing every thought, the mind begins to settle naturally, like still water after a storm. Mornings became sacred because they mirrored the truth of life itself. Light always follows darkness. Each dawn whispers, you can begin again. No matter what happened, no matter who left, no matter what you lost, the morning gives you another invitation to realign your spirit. To ask, who do I want to be today? And that single question, asked sincerely, can change everything. Time is patient, but the mind is restless. And when you finally learn to slow the mind down to match the rhythm of time, peace becomes possible. You realize you don't need to rush healing. You don't need to fix every emotion the moment it appears. The morning shows you that presence is healing in itself. You are not behind. You are exactly where life has brought you to grow. The power of inner direction, this is what Stoicism builds. It's not about forcing the day to go your way. It's about guiding your energy to respond wisely, whatever the day brings. A Stoic morning begins not with control of tasks, but with control of attention. Before the sun rises, before the phone wakes, there is a small space of silence that decides everything. The person who fills it with gratitude will carry peace. The one who fills it with fear will carry confusion. That's why this moment matters. As I learned to begin my day with stillness, I began to notice how my mind created reality. Thoughts that were negative colored the entire morning. Thoughts that were calm gave strength. The connection between thought, emotion, and body became clear. When I started the day with anxious thinking, my body would tighten, my breath would shorten, and my heart would race. But when I chose to breathe deeply and anchor myself, my whole body followed my mind into calmness. That's when I understood. The mind is not separate from the body, they are one. Each morning, the choice stands, to react or to respond, to rush or to reflect. Life doesn't ask for perfection, only for presence. That's the hidden morning secret. The power to rewire your mind begins with how you meet the day. Not with speed, but with sincerity. Not with fear, but with faith. The morning is not a task to complete, but a practice to live. And slowly, day by day, this practice reshapes you. Not in sudden breakthroughs, but in gentle awakenings. You start to feel lighter, not because life changed, but because your way of seeing it did. That's the quiet transformation Stoicism teaches. To master the self, one morning at a time. The first lesson that transformed my mornings was the understanding that control is not about power over things. It's about peace within yourself. The world will always bring uncertainty. Plans will fall apart, words will be misunderstood, and moments will test your patience. But control is not about preventing these things. It's about mastering your response when they arrive. For years, I wasted my mornings trying to manage everything outside me, tasks, timelines, even people's moods. I thought if I could make everything perfect, I'd finally feel calm. But Stoicism taught me that peace is not a reward for perfection, it's a result of presence. The simple truth is this: when you stop trying to control everything, you finally start controlling something, yourself. So each morning, I began with a small question: what can I truly control today? The answer was always the same: my attitude, my words, my effort. That question became my compass. Whenever stress tried to pull me off balance, I came back to it. Some days the mind resists. It wants to fix, to chase, to change. But when you stay with awareness, it softens. That's where peace lives, not in certainty, but in surrender to what's real. This is what the Stoics meant by freedom, not freedom from life, but freedom in life. The second lesson was gratitude before goals. The world often tells us to wake up and run to achieve, to earn, to prove. But I discovered something quietly radical. When you begin your day with gratitude instead of goals, your entire energy shifts. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment, the only place where life truly happens. It reminds you that before you chase anything, you already have everything that truly matters. The breath in your lungs, the chance to begin again, the sunlight touching your face. Each morning, I began writing down 3 things I was grateful for. Not big things, just honest ones. Some days it was the warmth of my tea, the peace of silence, or simply the fact that I woke up. This practice didn't make problems disappear, but it changed how I carried them. The mind that begins with gratitude sees solutions where others see burdens. Gratitude trains your perception, and perception shapes your reality. That is the Stoic way. Shifting from complaint to appreciation, from noise to clarity. The third lesson was realizing that thoughts are seeds. Whatever you repeat grows roots in your mind. The mind becomes what it practices, just like the body becomes what it repeats. If the first thought of your day is worry, that worry will echo through your actions. If your first thought is peace, the day follows that rhythm. Stoicism teaches that your outer life is a reflection of your inner dialogue. The quality of your thoughts shapes the quality of your emotions, and your emotions shape your body's energy. So I began practicing what I call mindful beginnings. Before touching my phone or facing the world, I would pause and notice my first thought. If it was negative, I wouldn't fight it. I would breathe, reframe it, and choose another. This act, small as it seems, began to change everything. Over time, my mind stopped rushing into old patterns of fear. It learned to rest in awareness. This is what rewiring truly means, not forcing positivity, but gently redirecting the mind toward clarity. Then came the deeper understanding, the harmony between body and mind. I once thought these two worked separately, but they are mirrors of one another. The mind speaks and the body listens. When your thoughts are tense, your shoulders tighten. When your mind is calm, your breath deepens. This is why Stoicism values simplicity, because peace of mind often begins with peace of body. One morning, I noticed how I carried anxiety like invisible weight. My back would ache, my jaw would clench, my breath would shorten. So I began to treat mornings as a sacred time for reconnection, not just mentally, but physically. Stretching slowly, walking in silence, feeling the air, the ground, the rhythm of breathing. It wasn't just exercise, it was alignment. The Stoics often said that philosophy is not only something you think, it's something you live, and the body is part of that living wisdom. When the body moves gently, the mind follows with grace.
The next lesson unfolded naturally: consistency over intensity. We live in a world obsessed with quick change, fast diets, instant success, sudden transformation. But Stoicism values endurance over speed. What matters is not how intense your effort is, but how consistent your commitment remains. Some mornings will feel heavy, the mind unmotivated, the body tired. Yet showing up for yourself on those days is what builds strength. I learned that discipline is not a punishment, it's a form of self-respect. Each time I rose early, even when I didn't feel like it, I was telling myself, you matter enough to be cared for. It wasn't about doing more, it was about being present again and again, no matter the mood. And that small act, repeated daily, began to shape something far greater than motivation. It built trust with myself. Consistency teaches the mind to rely on your word. It rewires uncertainty into quiet confidence. And then there was the breath, the anchor that holds the soul steady. The Stoics often spoke of the breath as the rhythm of life, the bridge between body and mind. When your breath is scattered, your thoughts follow. When your breath is steady, your emotions settle. I realized that most of the time, my anxiety wasn't caused by my life, but by how shallowly I was breathing through it. So, I began to breathe with awareness, slow, deep, and full. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Simple, but powerful. Each breath became a reminder that peace isn't found, it's created, moment by moment. When challenges arose, instead of reacting, I breathed. When irritation appeared, I breathed again. Over time, breathing became not just a practice, but a way of life. It's the body's natural way of returning the mind to the present. And in that presence, the noise fades and calm returns. Peace became less about circumstances and more about rhythm, the rhythm between mind, breath, and body. This balance is what Stoicism calls virtue, living in harmony with nature, which begins with the nature within you. When the mind and body are aligned, your actions become intentional, your emotions become manageable, and your mornings turn into sacred beginnings rather than rushed routines. But no journey of growth is complete without meeting the emotions that challenge your calm. That's where emotional discipline begins. The Stoics never said to suppress emotions. They taught to understand them. Emotions are natural. Fear, anger, sadness, all part of being human. But the danger lies in becoming ruled by them. There was a time when my emotions dictated my days. If something went wrong, the whole morning was ruined. My mind would spiral, my energy drained. Then I learned a simple truth. Emotions are messages, not commands. They arise to teach you, not to control you. When you see them as teachers instead of threats, you begin to master them. Calm is not the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of response. When you learn to pause between stimulus and reaction, you reclaim your power. The Stoics practiced this every morning, preparing the mind for what might come so that when life tested them, they met it with steadiness. I began to practice the same. Before starting the day, I would quietly say to myself, whatever happens today, I will meet it with calm. That simple promise changed everything.
Forgiveness also became part of this practice. Forgiving the past, the mistakes, the regrets that once haunted the mind. The past is a closed door, yet the mind loves to keep walking into it. But when you finally let it close, you create space for peace. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the past, it frees you from carrying it. And each morning gives you the opportunity to practice that freedom, to release yesterday's weight and begin again. This harmony between body, mind, and emotion is not built overnight. It grows quietly, through small acts of self-awareness, through gentle choices, through patient mornings. Over time, you start to notice the difference. The body feels lighter, the mind clearer, the emotions softer. You become both calm and strong, gentle but grounded. And this is the true meaning of Stoic strength, not hardness, but harmony. Growth rarely feels gentle when you're in the middle of it. It doesn't announce itself with comfort. It comes quietly, in the form of resistance, the kind that tests your patience, your courage, and your understanding of yourself. This was one of the hardest lessons to accept. Growth and discomfort walk together. In the beginning, it feels like something is wrong, but over time, you realize that this discomfort is the sound of your old self breaking open. Every challenge, every silent struggle, every morning you push through resistance instead of surrendering to it, all of it builds strength you can't yet see. The Stoics often spoke about voluntary discomfort, doing difficult things on purpose to build resilience. It doesn't mean seeking pain, it means embracing discipline. It means choosing the harder road when the easier one keeps you stagnant. Simple acts like waking early, meditating when you don't feel like it, staying calm when frustration arises. These are your daily training sessions for the mind. They forge the kind of strength that doesn't depend on conditions. Each time you sit through discomfort with calm awareness, you prove to yourself that peace isn't fragile, it's forged. Simplicity was another great teacher. We're often led to believe that more is better. More goals, more possessions, more noise. But simplicity reveals a hidden kind of power. The less clutter you carry in your thoughts, your environment, and your emotions, the more clearly you begin to see. Stoicism teaches that true wealth lies in needing little. When you stop chasing what doesn't serve you, you start connecting to what truly does. The morning is the perfect mirror for this. Clear, fresh, unburdened. Begin your day like that, uncluttered, unhurried, aware. Simplicity doesn't mean living without ambition. It means choosing what truly matters. The mind that is clear can pursue great things without losing peace. When your space is quiet, your heart can hear itself again. And this is where transformation begins, in stillness, not in noise. Every morning is an invitation to reflection, a chance to meet your own thoughts with kindness, not judgment, to observe the patterns that rise within you and ask, does this serve my peace? Stoicism teaches reflection not as rumination, but as awareness. It's the art of watching your mind without losing yourself in it. When you start doing this, you'll notice how thoughts, emotions, and even physical sensations are all connected, like strings of the same instrument. A tense thought tightens the body. A peaceful thought softens it. To rewire the mind, begin with observation. Sit quietly for a few minutes each morning. Watch the breath enter and leave. Notice how thoughts come and go like waves, some loud, some soft, but all passing. This practice is not about stopping thoughts, it's about no longer being controlled by them. Over time, the space between thought and reaction grows wider. That space, that single moment of pause, is where peace lives. Forgiveness also became part of this practice, forgiving the past, the mistakes, the regrets that once haunted the mind. The past is a closed door, yet the mind loves to keep walking into it. But when you finally let it close, you create space for peace. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the past, it frees you from carrying it. And each morning gives you the opportunity to practice that freedom, to release yesterday's weight and begin again. This harmony between body, mind, and emotion is not built overnight. It grows quietly, through small acts of self-awareness, through gentle choices, through patient mornings. Over time, you start to notice the difference. The body feels lighter, the mind clearer, the emotions softer. You become both calm and strong, gentle but grounded. And this is the true meaning of Stoic strength, not hardness, but harmony. Growth rarely feels gentle when you're in the middle of it. It doesn't announce itself with comfort. It comes quietly, in the form of resistance, the kind that tests your patience, your courage, and your understanding of yourself. This was one of the hardest lessons to accept. Growth and discomfort walk together. In the beginning, it feels like something is wrong, but over time, you realize that this discomfort is the sound of your old self breaking open. Every challenge, every silent struggle, every morning you push through resistance instead of surrendering to it, all of it builds strength you can't yet see. The Stoics often spoke about voluntary discomfort, doing difficult things on purpose to build resilience. It doesn't mean seeking pain, it means embracing discipline. It means choosing the harder road when the easier one keeps you stagnant. Simple acts like waking early, meditating when you don't feel like it, staying calm when frustration arises. These are your daily training sessions for the mind. They forge the kind of strength that doesn't depend on conditions. Each time you sit through discomfort with calm awareness, you prove to yourself that peace isn't fragile, it's forged. Simplicity was another great teacher. We are often led to believe that more is better, more goals, more possessions, more noise. But simplicity reveals a hidden kind of power. The less clutter you carry in your thoughts, your environment, and your emotions, the more clearly you begin to see. Stoicism teaches that true wealth lies in needing little. When you stop chasing what doesn't serve you, you start connecting to what truly does. The morning is the perfect mirror for this, clear, fresh, unburdened. Begin your day like that, uncluttered, unhurried, aware. Simplicity doesn't mean living without ambition, it means choosing what truly matters. The mind that is clear can pursue great things without losing peace. When your space is quiet, your heart can hear itself again. And this is where transformation begins, in stillness, not in noise. Every morning is an invitation to reflection, a chance to meet your own thoughts with kindness, not judgment, to observe the patterns that rise within you and ask, does this serve my peace? Stoicism teaches reflection not as rumination, but as awareness. It's the art of watching your mind without losing yourself in it. When you start doing this, you'll notice how thoughts, emotions, and even physical sensations are all connected, like strings of the same instrument. A tense thought tightens the body, a peaceful thought softens it. To rewire the mind, begin with observation. Sit quietly for a few minutes each morning. Watch the breath enter and leave. Notice how thoughts come and go like waves, some loud, some soft, but all passing. This practice is not about stopping thoughts, it's about no longer being controlled by them. Over time, the space between thought and reaction grows wider. That space, that single moment of pause, is where freedom lives. This reflection creates a kind of emotional hygiene. Just as the body needs cleansing, so does the mind. When you start your day by clearing inner clutter, the day unfolds with clarity. You respond to challenges from awareness, not impulse. You start seeing yourself, not as a victim of your thoughts, but as their observer. And that shift, subtle as it may seem, changes everything. But many lose the beauty of this practice because of a few common misunderstandings. One of the biggest mistakes is rushing the morning. The moment you wake, the phone lights up, the world floods in, and your mind begins running before your soul is even stretched. In that rush, you miss the quiet wisdom that mornings offer. The Stoic morning is not about how early you wake, but how present you are when you do. Another misunderstanding is seeking motivation instead of discipline.
Motivation fades with mood, but discipline stays with purpose. A peaceful life isn't built on how often you feel inspired, but on how consistently you act with intention. Even when your mind says, "Not today," your soul knows that showing up is a form of love. Love for growth, love for clarity, love for the self you are becoming. And perhaps the most common misunderstanding of all, believing that peace is found outside you. Many keep waiting for the right situation, the right time, the right person to finally feel at ease. But peace is not a destination, it is a decision, one that you make every single morning when you decide what kind of energy you will bring into the day. Stoicism reminds us that external control is an illusion. Internal control is liberation. So when you rise tomorrow, don't rush to check the world. Check in with yourself first. Ask, what is within my control today? Breathe. Ground yourself in that simple truth. Gratitude, intention, acceptance. These are the real morning rituals of the Stoic mind. They don't require special routines or perfect settings, only sincerity. Because every sunrise is more than just a new day, it's a rebirth of the self. You are not the same person who went to bed last night. Each morning gives you a new chance to direct your energy with clarity, to choose thoughts that serve your peace, and to act with calm confidence. The Stoics believe that each day is a rehearsal for life itself, and mornings are the opening act. Begin with awareness, and the rest of the day will follow in harmony. The lessons that took years to learn all lead to this simple truth. Clarity grows in silence, peace grows in gratitude, and strength grows in consistency. No great change begins with noise, it begins with awareness. The mornings are not meant to rush you, they are meant to realign you. So start gently, breathe deeply, move slowly, sit with your thoughts and let them unfold without judgment. Let your morning be your sanctuary, a place where you return to your center before facing the world. Over time, you will notice that life feels lighter, not because it got easier, but because your mind stopped resisting it. If you want to change your life, begin with how you greet the morning. It's not about grand plans or sudden breakthroughs. It's about small, steady acts of awareness. A few deep breaths, a moment of gratitude, a quiet intention. These simple choices, repeated daily, shape the foundation of a calm mind and a clear heart. Every sunrise whispers the same truth. You are the creator of your peace. You can choose to start from chaos or from calm. You can let yesterday define you, or you can begin again, lighter, wiser, freer. And if you need words to carry with you into the day, let them be gentle ones. I rise in peace. I act with clarity. I move with calm strength. My morning is my foundation. My mind is my home. Because every morning is not just a new beginning, it is a reminder that you are not here to control life, but to live it wisely, bravely, and beautifully, one peaceful sunrise at a time.